It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. What? It's Friday then. Saturday, Sunday. What? Yeah, it's okay.
What's up? This is Jeff. Welcome to Jeff's podcast. And today we're talking about Microsoft Xbox. And Xbox is turning 20 in 2021, where the console launched in November 21. That's 20 years ago, where the console is going to face the biggest console giants such as Sony's PlayStation and Nintendo consoles. Both consoles have dominated the gaming market, and Microsoft has already launched PC games. Since the company is tapping to make consoles, and the executive of Microsoft asked, what if they're going to make home consoles rather than staying at the computer desk? Microsoft launched the first generation Xbox at the CES, or the Consumer Electronics Show, in 2001, and the company enters the console gaming market where they compete against console giants, including Sony's PlayStation 2, Nintendo's GameCube, and Sega's Dreamcast. Although Sega announced that Dreamcast will end its production due to Xbox sales in the US. The first generation Xbox came from a contraction of DirectX Box, which is a reference to Microsoft Graphics API and DirectX, and it is the first console offered by an American company after the Atari Jaguar stopped sales in 1996. The console features a built-in hard disk, which is the first in the console, direct support for broadband connectivity to the internet, and Xbox Live online gaming service. The game has sold more than 24 million units and features award-winning games such as the Halo and Forza franchise. After the success of the first generation Xbox, the second generation Xbox has been launched and named Xbox 360, where the console serves as the successor of Xbox. Xbox 360 launched in May 2005, which is 4 years after the release of the first generation Xbox, as they'll compete against Sony's PlayStation 3 and Nintendo's Wii. The new console remains the Xbox Live service, allows users to play games online, download games and game demos, purchase and stream music, television programs, and films to the Xbox Music and Xbox Video portals, and access third-party content services to media streaming applications. In addition to online multimedia features, it allows users to stream media from local PCs. Several peripherals have been released, including wireless controllers, expanded hard drive storage, and the Kinect motion sensing camera. Xbox 360 has various hard disk drives that have been produced, including options at 20, 60, 120, 250, 320, or 500 GB. Inside, the Xbox 360 uses the triple-core IBM designed Xenon as its CPU, with each core capable of simultaneously processing 2 threads and can therefore operate on up to 6 threads at once. The release of these additional services and peripherals helped the Xbox brand go from gaming only to encompassing all multimedia, turning it into a hub for living room computing entertainment. The earliest versions of the console suffered from a high failure rate, indicated by the so-called red ring of death, necessitating an extension of the device's warranty period. The Xbox 360 video game console is subject to a number of technical problems and failures that can render it unusable. However, many of the issues can be identified by a series of glowing red lights flashing on the face of the console, the three flashing red lights being the most infamous. There are also other issues that arise with the console, such as this becoming scratched in the drive and the breaking of consoles due to dashboard updates. The Xbox 360 has sold more than 84 million units worldwide, surpassing the first generation console in selling units. The third generation Xbox has been launched under the name Xbox One, and the console was released in November 2013. Xbox One features internet-based features including the ability to record and stream gameplay, and the ability to integrate with a set-top box to watch cable or satellite TV to the console with an enhanced guide interface and Kinect-based voice control. It is powered by an AMD Jaguar accelerated processing unit with two quad-core modules, totaling 8 x86 64 cores, clocked at 1.75 GHz and 8 GB of DDR3 RAM with a memory bandwidth of 68.3 GB per second. Moving away from its predecessor's PowerPC-based architecture, the Xbox One marks a shift back to the x86 architecture used in the original Xbox. It features an AMD accelerating processing unit built around the x86 64 instruction set. Xbox One's controllers was redesigned over the Xbox 360s with a redesigned body, D-pad, and triggers capable of delivering directional haptic feedback. The console places an increased emphasis on cloud computing, as well as social networking features and the ability to record and share video clips or screenshots from gameplay or live stream directly to streaming services such as Mixer and Twitch. Games can also be played off console by a local area network on supported Windows 10 devices. The console can play Blu-ray disc and overlay live television programming from an existing set-top box or a digital tuner for digital terrestrial television with an enhanced program guide. The console optionally included a redesigned Kinect sensor marketed as the Kinect 2.0, providing improved motion tracking and voice recognition. There are two variants for the Xbox One series. The One S can upscale 1080p games to 4K, but it isn't a real 4K console, while the One X retains all the media sensibilities of the Xbox One S with an Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray player, support for HDR content, and Dolby Atmos. Xbox One consoles, including the One S and One X, has sold an estimated 51 billion units sold. After three generations of Xbox consoles, the next generation of Xbox consoles enters the next generation with the release of the fourth generation Xbox, the Xbox Series, the Series S, and the Series X. The consoles first emerged in early 2019, with the line as a whole codenamed Scarlet, and consisting of high-end and low-end models codenamed Anaconda and Lockhart respectively. Internally, Microsoft has been satisfied with the two console approach for the Xbox One and planned a similar approach for the fourth generation Xbox, with a target for the high-end model to at least double the performance of the Xbox One X. The high-end model was first teased during the Electronics Entertainment Expo or E3 in 2019 under the title Project Scarlet, while its name and design as Xbox Series X was unveiled during the Game Awards later in December. In November 2020, Project Scarlet will be named Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X, the same Xbox controller with different designs and features. The Xbox Series S uses the same CPU but has a less powerful GPU, less memory and internal storage, and lacks an optical drive. It is comparable in its hardware to the Xbox Series X, similar to how the Xbox One S relates to the Xbox One X, but has less processing power. While it runs the same CPU with slightly slower clock frequencies, it uses a slower GPU, a custom RDNA 2 with 20 CUs at 1.55 GHz for 4 teraflops, compared to 12 teraflops of the Series X. It ships with 10 GB of RAM and 512 GB solid-state drive storage unit with a raw input-output throughput of 2.4 GB per second and does not include any optical disk drive, thus requiring the user to gain all software from digital distribution. It is intended to render games nominally at 1440p with a support for a 4K upscale at 60 frames per second, although it can go as high as 120 frames per second at this resolution. The Xbox Series X was a higher-end hardware and supports higher display resolutions along with the higher frame rate and real-time ray tracing. It also has a high-speed solid-state drive to reduce loading times. It is powered by a custom 7nm AMD Zen 2 CPU with 8 cores running at a nominal 3.8 GHz, or when simultaneous multi-threading is used at 3.6 GHz. One CPU core is dedicated to the underlying operating system. The integrated graphics processing unit is also a custom unit based on AMD's RDNA 2 graphics architecture. It has a total of 56 compute units with 3,584 cores, with 52 CUs and 3,328 cores enabled, and will be running at a fixed 1.825 GHz. This unit is capable of 12 teraflops of computational power. Both consoles are also compatible with gaming subscription service Xbox Game Pass, as well as the cloud game streaming platform Xbox Cloud Gaming. "20 years of Xbox and the fun that never stops." With a wide range of gaming titles to choose from for each console, there is also connectivity and passion for the gamers you love. In celebration of its 20th anniversary, all Xbox games from the first generation Xbox console to the second generation Xbox 360 are now offering a backward compatibility program that adds 76 new games to the next gen console. Every original Xbox or Xbox 360 game added today will support Auto HDR on Xbox Series S or Series X console, and original Xbox games will include a resolution increase. Xbox One X and Xbox Series X owners will see a 4x or 4 times resolution increase on original Xbox games, with a 3 times bump on Xbox Series S and a 2 times increase on Xbox One S and Xbox One consoles. What is your memorable moment for Xbox in the past 2 decades? Let us know in the comments. If you have comments or suggestions, let us know in the comments. Follow Jeff11 Manchester on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to youtube.com/kfaboy. Well, that's about it for Jeff's podcast. This is Jeff. We'll see you in the next podcast.